Okay. We are broadcasting. The channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
D&D
Dragons?
Dungeons.
I- I'm Christiana Ellis, and I am the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Jenny Meltzer playing Zaleen.
Oh no, it was a dragon.
Paul Fisher playing Zinhorn Windborn.
Good evening. Did anyone happen to see a dragon go by?
Mark Kilfoyle playing Nedry Shiny Rock.
I'm starting to question whether it's a real dragon or something else entirely.
And John Merlin playing Baldu.
Oh no, Mr. Frodo, there's a dragon.
We sadly once again are missing our friend Starla tonight, but we are continuing apace in any case. So,
We'll aim harder and
Yeah.
see if we can hit her next time.
well, so let's talk about where last we saw the pocket protectors. Well, you were emerging from the Temple of Marushka, where you met Tilitha and discussed the current state of affairs regarding Dinuthair, the evil magical city that has been held barely under containment for a long time and is working on its way out. But you also had inadvertently released a monster that you figured you needed to go take care of. And so you were heading on your way back to rendezvous with your flying castle, Sunia, and your friends who live there. And on your way, a couple of things happened at once. One was that your friend, Carolina, mysteriously fell unconscious for unknown reasons. Two, the monster you were looking for apparently found you and began attacking your flying castle. And three, a mysterious new individual named Baldu showed up looking to do a job. And it was all very chaotic because the battle with the dragon began. And although you made good progress towards fighting it off, you managed to drive it away. It's fleeing, but unfortunately, that does not solve your problem. You need to deal with it completely, not just keep it from attacking you. So you are in pursuit as we left off. Did I miss anything? Anyone have any questions there?
Nope.
Okay. So we are not in initiative proper at this time because the dragon has now outpaced your ability to directly fire at it, and it's capable of flying faster than you. However, Nedry has set up a locate creature spell, I believe, or was it locate object?
It's locate creature.
Right. Which covers for 1,000 feet, right? And so
Yep.
it's possible that it will exceed that radius before you are able to catch up to it. But at the very least, it does seem to be going in a direction that you can follow. And so right now, things have calmed down a little bit because although you are flying as quickly as Sunia is able in pursuit, there's nothing else for the rest of you to be doing in the meantime. So while you are hoping to eventually catch up, what are you doing?
I'm checking something really quick.
Okay.
Then I might have an answer. I don't know. So I have a question. I totally, because we've been so like sporadic the last month or so, I forgot about our boons from Solomonia.
Okay.
And would it be possible to retcon a little bit and say that I hunter's marked that dragon?
Sure. Remind me just the details of what your boon lets you do there.
Hunter's mark at level 5, which maintains it for up to 24 hours.
Oh, great. And does that have a like a distance range, or is it just like anywhere?
Um,
I just don't remember all of the word by word
until
details.
the spell ends, you deal extra damage, and it doesn't say, you can maintain your concentration on the spell for up
Right.
to 24
So,
hours. It doesn't say like
mhm.
how far away it goes.
Okay, yeah. So if it doesn't say, then we'll assume that it doesn't have a limit there. So yeah, I'm happy with allowing that um, you were able to tag it in that way.
Okay. All right.
So in that regard, then you are even more able to, uh, keep track of its current headings. What I will say becomes clear after a little bit of this is that although it's currently outpacing you, it does seem like it is heading in the direction of Emersham, the city that was nearby.
Okay. We have got to catch up to it. Like, we've got to stop it before it does something horrible in Emersham, because I think with everything that's been going on, those people have been through enough.
I mean, we're not likely to catch up to it, but maybe we can warn them.
Yeah, somebody's got to be able to warn them.
Maybe Lord Yobert has I don't know. The only person that I can think of that we know there was that fisherman, that sailor that we met.
Well, there is a sending room downstairs. You could send to him. I don't know if he'd be believed, because he was telling a lot of fantastical stories, but it's better than nothing.
On that note, at this time, you from one of the stairwells, you hear footsteps, and the orc individual that you met briefly at the doorway, Baldu, and everyone else knows is Brennan, climbs up to the roof with the rest of you, and with him is following just behind is Lord Yobert, who is a purple-skinned kind of debonair tiefling who uses a fancy wheelchair that is able to climb stairs and so on. And this wheelchair is actually somewhat new. It's clear, you had seen that Sequential and Sorashana had been working on it, but it's clearly made some advancements now. So the two of them come up, and your friend Sequential, who is Warforged, I don't know if Baldu would have any idea what that is, comes up as well. They have joined you on the roof, and Lord Yobert looks to the rest of you and just says, so, an exciting reunion. Are we in immediate danger? What is the situation?
The dragon is outpacing us. It's fleeing right now, but it is heading towards Emersham. So we need to find a way to warn the people there of its coming, because I think it's going to wreak havoc.
I don't have any direct contacts in Emersham, but I know people who do. I can create a network to deliver a message.
Okay, the only person we know that we could even message was kind of disturbed. Like, he'd been through some stuff and he told some stories that we don't think it would actually, get the attention that it deserves. People probably would think he was making it up.
Looking through one of the optics, is it possible to see the city?
Yeah, you can see where it is. It's a ways off. Like, at your current speed, it will probably take more than an hour to get there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and so as of right now, the castle is doing its best to keep up, but it seems unavoidable that the dragon will beat you there, assuming it doesn't change course.
Maybe if we warn them, they can be ready for it.
Well, certainly better warned than not. Forgive my manners, sir. Clearly, you have been helping in this scenario, so we owe you our thanks for that. But who are you? Looking to you, Baldu.
Oh, right, yeah, I guess proper introductions weren't quite made. My name's Baldu, and I'm here. I think I'm here to see this one over here, and I point to Zaylene. We kind of have I wouldn't exactly call her a boss or a goddess, but yeah, we kind of work for the same person.
We serve the same mistress?
That's a good way of putting it. Aye. So
Does this
yeah,
mean your cult is working finally?
Maybe. I mean, she did talk to me last night, and she said that she was sending me some help. Maybe that was you?
could be, could be. She this a little bit out of my area of comfort. Well, that's not quite right. It's not that I'm uncomfortable, but normally she tells me to go somewhere with a name, and it's usually like that name don't mean too much after I arrive. If you know what I mean.
Right.
But this time she was like, "Why don't you go down there and see what's going on, and see if you can be of assistance?" And I'm like, "Okay, I've never really done that before. I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I'll do it." And then I showed up, and this castle were flying, and then there were a dragon. Well, and the rest. You were all there.
Right. Here
that
it
point.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she kind of sent me along to come and be of some assistance, I guess.
You can also help me with my cult that I'm starting, apparently. I don't think it's a cult, but they do.
All right. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. That might have to go in my report.
Oh, she knows all about it, but I
all
mean,
right
you
then,
could
well-
you could tell her more. I mean, you could tell her how good I'm doing, and maybe she could help me even more. I mean, I think people need to know about her
Well,
and need to respect her. That's all.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've seen a few people who didn't respect her, and ooh, I ain't saying too much, but
Hmm.
I wouldn't want to be them. Oh, no, sir.
Yeah.
It's a
Carolina
cult.
told me a story about some dwarf that really ticked her off, and these heroes of legend that did a number that made her super mad. I never brought it up to her because it sounded awful, and I did not want to make her mad all over again.
Oh, that's wise. That is. That's wise.
Mhm.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm bound to, and that's why I'm here.
Well, this is Nedry, and I point over to this little gnome.
I do believe I have you thanked for stopping me from going splat when I fell off the back of that dragon.
It would have been very messy, and you seemed useful.
Well, I appreciate that you see my worth, and I again thank you very much for making me not go splat. It's appreciated.
And this dragonborn here is Zinhorn,
It's a good pleasure to meet you.
Hello.
and the unconscious person that we had with us is our friend Carolina, but she's unconscious, and I can't figure out why, and I don't think Zinhorn could either.
Maybe she had a bit too much to drink last night.
No,
That
she
always
was
does for
really
me.
no. I don't know. I don't think so. We didn't really go anywhere where she would be drinking. She was mostly just really tired, but she was here, and she did kind of say that this dragon might be her fault. And I kind of turned to Lord Gilbert as I say that, like, maybe it's her fault.
Yeah, so like there's a little bit of a how concerned should we be about that aspect of it beyond the idea that we're already concerned about a dragon?
Well, she didn't do it on purpose. We have all these powerful items that we keep getting, and she was super brave and finally used one, and it had repercussions. But she saved our
Sequential,
lives.
yeah. So the Warforged sequential just says, "Oh, did the new feature we added work?"
I mean, I guess she didn't really get to elaborate because she went unconscious. So I don't know.
So specifically, the new feature that they added to it was the ability to have it show up right where you are instead of in some mysterious place nearby. Which she chose not to do.
Oh no,
that
it didn't
because
work.
it didn't work. Well, she chose not to do it because she didn't want it to fight that at the same time as the
Oh,
worm we
right.
were fighting. Yeah. So,
Right.
but in any case,
I don't know.
Well, it was the first time we've ever used it, so
I
we
mean,
weren't really knowing what to expect.
yeah, we didn't even know that. I mean, isn't the effect like a maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't?
yeah, sequential confirms. Yes, there's a chance when you try to imprison a creature in the deck that one of the currently imprisoned ones will escape. So we had tried to set it so that it was more under control, but I guess that doesn't always make that the prudent thing to do.
No. We kind of she trapped a worm, like this massive phasing worm that was awful and nearly killed all of it. Did kill one of us, but fortunately, Zinhorn was able to bring Evan back.
So, speaking of Evan, who has his stats up at the moment?
I can pull them up right now.
Okay. Well, what I would like is for Evan to make a stealth check, and for everyone else to make a perception check.
Oh, and the big gray monster is technically on our side as well.
Oh, you talking about that thing up? Sorry, thing is impolite. You talking about? I don't know, him, her, them.
I think
up
thing is
there.
technically accurate.
Oh well, you talking about that thing up there then? Well, I not always the sharpest knife in the assassin's kit, but
Yeah.
I did see that he was fighting in the same direction we were. So yeah, but it's good to have confirmation. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
He's really only a friend to Zinhorn.
Oh, he
I just
doesn't-
try to stay out of his way.
He's not an unfriend to us. He just mostly likes Zinhorn and follows his lead.
Speaking
I
of
just hope he's not
Buster,
hungry and I happen to be standing nearby.
Buster, I think, is sort of pacing back and forth in the direction that the dragon went, and kind of still just occasionally looking over there, like he's expecting to come back, and kind of he's waiting. If it comes back, he's going to be ready.
Were we making perception checks, did you say?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what happens there is that in a fairly stealthy, successfully stealthy way, Evan is trying to sneak up, not so much in an aggressive way, but just in a way so as to not be noticed. He's sneaking up on specifically Baldu. Like, he doesn't have any weapons drawn or anything like that. But the thing is that several of you do spot him, including Baldu. So Baldu, you become aware that the human man that was with the group when they were getting onto the castle, that kind of ran in the door, seems to be trying to sneak up on you.
I'll spin to face him and stick my hand out, ready to shake his in a sort of fast-paced but not aggressive manner, but yet assertive.
Right. So, yeah, his eyes briefly widen in, like, you surprised him, and he's a little perhaps embarrassed that he didn't succeed in sneaking up on you. And then he gives you a long, like, up and down look, and he goes for the handshake too. He does the tight squeeze thing. He's squeezing your hand, the aggressive handshake thing.
I just accept that he's squeezing it tightly, and my name's Baldu. We kind of met downstairs, sort of towards the ramp area, but I didn't quite catch a name because everything was happening so fast. And so you are...
My name's Evan, and thanks for helping out back there. I've been serving Mistress of the Dark with Zaleen since before you got here. So
All right.
just,
Yes.
I guess,
Right.
welcome to the team.
Well, it's good to be here. This is probably the most sunlight I've seen in some time. You
It's
might,
terrible, isn't it?
I, not saying I'm not a fan, but I'm,
Not a fan.
it's gonna take some getting used to.
I pull out one of my hats and some sunglasses and hand over.
I think your Lord Yobert, the tiefling, says, "Well, perhaps if there's not any combat to be had at the moment, we can retire to one of the lower levels a bit more comfort, and Sunia can watch out for if the dragon is returning or anything else occurs."
I have a handle on where it is. I can help her find it. Stay aware.
So
Um,
I don't have the map up on the stream, but I think that if y'all are in Roll20, I'll just move you to the library level map just to reflect like a place that everyone can kind of hang out. I'll put you on there. So I think, yeah, everyone can kind of go down there and just be, out of the direct sunlight, for example. And Lord Yobert is precedes you down the stairs, and the workings of his wheelchair on these stairs is pretty impressive. I think you get the impression that he's very pleased with it. But he goes ahead and he says, "I will begin making some calls to ensure that Emersham has warning of the dragon's approach."
Did you put me on the map or?
Oh, yeah, let me, sorry,
yep, and Buster too.
Mhm.
As we're heading down the stairs, Buster seems to get really enthusiastic and looks like he's about to run over Lord Yobert. And much to everyone's surprise, Zinhorn just puts up a hand and Buster just stops.
Well, that's
Wow.
getting better.
Yeah. That's wow. You
Mind
guys been-
control?
Control.
No, it's like Buster and Zinhorn have kind of reached a new understanding of how things work. Sitting and snuggling and storing, and that just kind of made them a lot closer, and it's given Buster a whole more insights into Zinhorn, and Zinhorn a lot more insights into just how Buster thinks and operates, and how to get him to understand what he needs to be doing.
I think I'm still going to try to research mind control. Seems safer.
So I am gonna actually put the map on the stream just because we've got tokens kind of for all the various NPCs here. So especially for some of the ones we haven't seen in a while, it makes sense to kind of have it there. For everyone else, we'll say that Carolina is currently still unconscious. Oops, let me get everyone here on the map. Carolina is still unconscious, but she's been set up with a blanket under her head and seems to be, more or less comfortable at the moment. And we have Ivy, the Aarakocra, Evan, the human, Brennan, the orc. Lord Yobert, the tiefling, has gone into his little study to start using the sending stone. Sequential, the Warforged, and et cetera, et cetera. None of you see Sorashana as of yet. So Brennan, I think, comes over to you, Baldu, as well, and shakes your hand too. And although he is certainly very strong, he is not doing the aggressive, squeeze your hand thing. And he just
Okay.
says, "Well, you know, I've had to get used to a lot of unexpected people showing up lately, but at the same time, you know, friend of Zaylene's, friend of the rest of the group, friend of mine."
Well, it's good to know. I'm not really here to. Well, truth be told, I'm not quite sure what I'm here to do. Save for helping Miss Aileen. So yeah, that's I guess yeah. But if friends of hers, friends of mine, that sounds right, proper good.
Everybody here is really nice
Well, that's good to know. It's good to know.
and super deadly.
Good to know.
So Ivy, the Aarakocra, had been tending to Carolina, and she just looks up at the rest of you and she says, "I'm afraid that she has not recovered. She seems no different than when she first went unconscious."
Maybe it's a side effect.
"I'm not sure. She appears
Um,
as if she's dreaming."
Can I
Oh,
get another medicine check?
Mhm.
Okay.
can-
26.
That's pretty good. Um, if not for the fact that you cannot seem to wake her, you would assume she is asleep having a dream. She does not appear to have any other physical symptoms that you can tell.
Can
Okay.
I set up the tower on the table
Sure.
and take
In
her,
small
and
mode,
take
I
her
would assume.
inside?
Okay.
Yeah, like the small version.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to take her inside.
Okay. So, Baldu, you watch Zaylene take out of her bag what looks like a doll's house version of a tower that's, about like 18 inches tall.
Okay.
And she sets it on the table and then takes Carolina's unconscious hand and touches the door, and then they both disappear.
Right. Well, that's some fancy magic. I guess I'll just be. I kind of turn to the room at large. I assume they'll be back, right? I'll just wait here till they come back.
I will set her up in that first room there,
Mhm.
and I will go back out really quick and be like, "You guys can come in if you want. I just want to see what she's dreaming."
I need to stay out here so I can keep track of the dragon.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Evan looks at you, Baldu, and just says, "Oh yeah, this is old news. If you've been part of the crew for a while, this is the magic tower. It can change sizes and stuff. It's pretty cool."
It's bigger on the inside, too.
Oh, you once knew a doctor who had something like that.
I think
Is his name Rupino?
Sequential says, actually, I think in a matter of speaking, it's not bigger on the inside. It's that it makes you smaller.
Yes.
It's a bit of a conundrum, really, because
It's
it
a
makes you both
paradox.
bigger and smaller,
That's true.
and can make you smaller and bigger. It's very strange. We didn't make it.
So, this tower, it can become any size.
No, I mean, it can become big and then it can become small, but I can change the size of it when I need to.
Okay, all right. I'm just storing that away for later. That might be handy information to know.
It's
If,
come in
um,
handy a few times.
If Carolina is still asleep, I can't do it right now because I want to keep an eye on that dragon, but I should be able to talk to her if it comes to that.
Well, I
I've-
want to just see what she's dreaming. Like when we're in the tower, I can see what everybody's dreaming in the tower.
Oh. Well, I have to do it the hard way, but it's something similar to that.
Okay, well, if it doesn't work, I can let you know. And
I
maybe
can actually
later.
go into their dreams, which might be a little bit better than just seeing them. But it would be good to know what I'm going into.
Hmm.
Just an idea.
Yeah.
Something
I'll
I've been
let you
tinkering
know.
with.
Well, for right now, it feels like she's just dreaming, and she doesn't seem to be getting any worse. So, let me know if her condition changes.
Okay.
We'll have
So,
to remember this if the deck ever comes into play again.
Right.
so it does everybody. So who all follows into the tower?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Well,
Uh,
Nedry
Uh,
has to stay out.
Okay.
I'm staying out right now.
I imagine Evan would come with me.
I should probably go.
Hmm?
So, get in there. I just reach out and I sort of touch the door.
Yeah, you just tap it, like knock on
Yeah.
it.
Well, so what Evan says is, well, I mean, you have to have been given permission by the person who attunes to it. So like I guess
Hmm.
if you touch the door, you'll see if she's given you permission or not.
I reach out and touch the door.
Zalian? Yeah. All right.
Go in.
Okay, so I'll briefly put us on the tower map there. Where did I leave that map?
I don't think we've been in there in a while.
Not in a while, no. Well, just because usually the stuff that's happening in there doesn't necessarily require. Oh, here, there.
It's the place we go to be out of the action.
Yeah. I didn't delete that map, did I? No, that's a different, not the same tower. There we go. That's what it is. I couldn't remember what I called the page, and then the little icon for it was not the obvious one. So it wouldn't be Buster in there right now. Zaline and Baldu and Evan.
I laugh that Carolina is on the third floor in her bed, where she the bed that she claimed as her own.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Is
Yeah.
that where you put her? You kind of said the first
No.
room, but
I
Well,
just put her like
it
in
just-
that
yeah.
room with all the bookshelves, just
Yeah.
in the bed. It's just funny.
all right. Yeah. So here we go. All right. So just as far as once you find yourself briefly entranced by a flash of light, Baldu, you actually emerge at the front door of this tower here. There's a set of stairs going up right in front of you, but this doorway to your left is open, and there's just a little sitting room in there with some bookshelves and a table and everything, and that's what you see.
All right, this is like a right proper cozy little place. This is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really come in handy. It belongs to this wizard that's in my pocket, but I'm gonna sit with her for a minute just so I can maybe try to get inside her dream and see what she's dreaming.
I do remember that feature. Can you remind me just the specific wording of? Is it just simple that it says you can know the dreams of the people in the tower?
Yeah. It says while attuned to it, the user is aware of any and all dreams experienced by creatures taking a rest inside the tower.
Okay. So I think when you sort of lean in to try to focus on Carolina, what you see, there's sort of a lot of like dark swirling void but like you sort of move into it, and what you see is what looks like a very unexpected cozy little kitchen that is like not surrounded by walls, but just everywhere, like beyond where the furniture is, it just sort of becomes this dark swirling void. But Carolina is sitting there at a table with an older woman that it's hard to know for sure because you only briefly saw her as kind of a spectral memory figure. but you think it might be Isilda. They are having a conversation in hushed tones, and as you approach closer, you see Isilda look up and see you, and she looks at you, and there's a moment where you see kind of the interior wheels turning, like she's trying to think what to do. And then what she does something with her hands, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 around the kitchen, there's now like walls of like a cottage. So you're now like outside a cottage.
Are there windows that I can peek through?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna peek through the windows and spy
Okay.
on them like I do.
Sure. So they do still seem to be at this same kitchen table. As far as you can tell, Carolina has not noticed any change. She is having a conversation still. As you look in the window, Isilda does look over at you and just kind of give you the...
Does Carolina look like she's just, having a casual conversation? Like she doesn't look distressed or anything.
She doesn't look like scared or anything, but she looks like she's having a tough emotional conversation.
Okay. I'll just watch for a little while, make sure that she's okay.
Okay. This seems to be a gentle conversation about difficult things. And I am going to, basically say, you don't really feel like you can get more than just the general vibe of the conversation, partly just because this is, of course, sneak preview of what we're going to see when Starla is back.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just mostly just making sure she's okay. Like I don't want to leave her somewhere.
So I think as you kind of linger, I think what happens is that it sort of freezes in there for a moment, and all of a sudden Isilda is outside the cottage with you, and you can see that she is still at the kitchen table in there also, but there's just it's like she now looks a little bit more like you saw her in those spectral memories in the Reclaimer's Mansion, namely big and scary. Like she looks in big and scary mode, but as she suddenly appears before you, her eyes are gentle, and she just looks at you and just says, "This is private. If Carolina wants you to know these things, she'll tell you when she awakes.
I'm not trying to listen. I just want to make sure she's okay.
She will be fine."
That's all. Okay. I'm trusting you with her. She's the most important person in the world.
She gives you a little bit of a look like, she will wake up soon enough.
Okay.
And then she disappears from outside, and you see that the conversation is continuing inside.
All right, and then I'll back away
Okay.
to give them their privacy.
All right. Are you staying in there kind of monitoring otherwise, or are you coming
No,
out?
like I'll leave it alone. Like
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing really to see.
Yeah.
I just if I have to, I'll check back in later.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like hours go by
Sure.
and she's still unconscious, I'll check back in.
All right. So I think while Zaylene is kind of unresponsive, kneeling there by Carolina, Evan is kind of just looking over. It's like, so, like, what's the deal with that sword?
Well, it's a bit special. Yeah, I don't know if you ever heard of a Sunblade.
I mean,
No?
like,
Yes? No?
I mean, sure. I've heard of Sunblade.
Yeah, well, this is that, except, like, the opposite. So instead of being the Sunblade, which, you wave it around and it's all shiny and bright,
Sure, I said I know what the Sunblade is.
Well, I know. I just sorry. I'm verbose.
Sorry,
I speak
I'm
a lot. I
laughing.
don't know how to.
Yeah.
I don't know how to stop talking sometimes. Well, instead of doing all of that, like I can basically like I don't obviously because I'm very good at being not seen if I don't want to be seen, but I can help those around me be not seen as well with my with this. Like
Yeah.
we call it the shade blade because like it's the opposite of the sun blade, and obviously like shade blade, it's a nice bit of it's nice ring to it because you got that aid and that aid again, shade.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
like like lemonade.
yeah. I mean, I guess technically, like if we had some lemons and stuff, like we could make shade blade lemonade,
Mm.
and have it for trade.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I guess that's pretty cool. I mean, I just kind of like, I do my thing with just like a regular sword. I think that's like, I don't need like fancy thing to to do my thing. But
Well, you must be very good at what you do then.
well, yeah, I guess. I mean, I've been working really hard. I've been practicing.
I
So I guess I'm just like, like I think Zaline's really special, and I really she's helped me a lot, and I just kind of want to make sure that if there's just like gonna be some new guy following her around, I want to make sure like he's not trouble.
Well, I mean, usually when I come like here or there or wherever it might be, where outside of the temple, I usually am trouble. But like I say, I'm usually sort of given a name. I go see that person. That person, they do that whole thing whether they die, um, and then there's usually a little bit of screaming and running, and then I disappear back to the temple a little bit.
They
Um,
they get slayed.
yeah, something like that. Um, Sometimes it's with a sleigh. I've done that one. Usually it's with a sword though, or a knife or a bow. But yeah, I've used the sleigh. I can be imaginative like that.
All right. Well, so I guess just like I guess you can tag along for a while if she says it's okay, but like I'm keeping my eye on you.
Yeah, you might need to do that. Like I said, I'm good at like being all sneaky like.
Well, I'm good at fighting sneaky things if it comes to that. So like I so just make sure you do the right thing.
Look, as far as I know, we're on the same page here, right?
Mhm.
So like it's
Yeah.
you're Ariel Penzaline and I'm Ariel Penzaline,
Yeah.
and we're all here for the Mistress of the Dark. Like so, I'm gonna do some, close to the bedtime. I'll do a little bit of ritual, and we can have a pray if you like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like I'm not a priest. She don't really,
Hmm.
that's not really her bag. But I grew up in one of her temples and trained up there and whatnot, and so it's like it's like I'm not on first name terms with her because you know she doesn't have a name, and I only have the first name. I don't have no last name. But like I am on first name terms if she had one, and I have more than one name. Like not we're not buddies, we're not pals. Like she's still, like this all powerful being that I kind of, you know,
Uh,
owe everything to.
Baldu, make an insight check.
Sure. Ooh, I just need to I just need to it all went away, the integration.
Oh no.
Uno memento. There we go. We got you back.
There we go.
That's 16.
Yeah, 16 is enough, I think, yeah, you can tell Evan has completely lost the thread of who you're even talking about, but he doesn't want to let on that that's the case. He's trying to just like nod and say, "Oh, yeah, for sure." Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, like me and her, we're close. Like, and just so happens that she's this all powerful being, and I do her bidding. Um, yeah. So and she bid that I came here, and here I am.
Okay, well, but I've known her longer. And then he just pulls up a chair to just like sit next to where Zaleen is kneeling.
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no doubt about that. I've been here all of I don't know how long's it been? It feels like a long time, but it's probably only been an hour or three.
Probably like
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's more like that. Yeah.
Probably like 15 minutes. This feels like longer. Feels like a week.
Yeah. So in the meantime, what's everyone else doing back in the the big castle? So we got Baldu temporarily move them away.
I'm gonna talk to Sunya and find out if there's anything that we can do to make her go faster.
Well, I think not so much as such. My workings are, we are a castle. It's just kind of inherently the fact that we can move at all is sort of the special thing. But I am able to move the way that I am because of the belief you all have in me, and so I appreciate that. I think there's not much I can do to go any faster, though. I think we can just try to maintain course and hope to be ready when we arrive. Just on that note, the cannonade I noticed did seem to be helpful, but certainly if we're over a city, we'll need to be very careful with firing it.
Yes. Man, I wish I had one of those super fast flying boat things that the friend of the Emperor had, or his men had, when we ran into them the first time. But
To be sure, those are faster, but I like to think that the accommodations are better. Yeah.
oh, yes, the accommodations are much better. The conversation is infinitely better.
Oh. I'm doing my best. I appreciate that. I share your concern about the dragon leaving us in the dust, so to speak. But I'm doing my best.
I appreciate it very much. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know.
Yes, I will. What about you, Nedry? What are you doing?
I have a feeling that every once in a while he's just sort of whispering to the wall to tell Sunya, like, a little bit to your left. Okay, perfect. It's right in front of us still.
Mm-hmm.
It's moving back and forth and flying, because basically giving up updates on the
Right.
on the dragon's movement. But because he doesn't have to be upstairs to directly control the controls, at least not now, he will go down to the lab and see if he can find Sorashana.
Okay. Yeah.
Sequential hopefully is there too. So
I think when you're heading in that direction, you do well. So, I mean, specifically speaking, the map that we're on right now, like this is the lab, the library. That's
oh,
what
that is
this map
the
is.
space.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right. But in any case, so you don't see her here, but certainly you could ask Sunia where she is, or just go look in the other places that you might
Well,
expect
probably
her.
ask Sequential actually.
Ah, yes. Yeah, so Sequential says, I, she was worried about the new person, so I'm sure she's lurking around here somewhere.
Oh, yeah, that came. That wasn't really planned. But he seems all right.
Well, I mean, it sounds like he was helping you fight the dragon, which is, on a scale of, saying a nice thing to a friend versus helping the friend move, it seems like it's a pretty good indicator.
Indeed. Oh, well, I, I think we're going to be moving again. I think you're probably going to be working here in the lab, but we found this, and you should probably take a look at it.
And Nedry will hand. I'm just presuming Nedry has it because book.
Sure.
Will hand Sequential the other half of the journal, which is still written in the language that we can't read, but which he can, or they can. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Oh, excellent. This is the missing piece of what we were looking for before. I mean, I guess we don't know what we'll find in it, but I can get started translating it.
Well, if it helps, we think it was the headmaster who was responsible for this book, and perhaps the other one involved in, well, all of the other things that were going on. It was definitely here where they had come with the rest of the Reclaimers Academy and started all of this business from that perspective. We also found a display where the items that we found were, including the crown. So I don't know if it ties into those things together more for you, but it might help your research.
Were any of the other items there?
No, everything was taken probably a long time ago, and probably partially by the Reclaimers, and maybe if there was anything left, somebody else came. We do have to figure out a way to try to block off some tunnels and maybe put some defenses. Something like your cannon that you make might be useful, but I don't want you to leave it behind. But if you can think about something like the cannonades or something automatic, or I've got a few spells that can cause some damage in the area, but I'm a little afraid of it doing more damage.
Well, yeah, I think, this is certainly my first time trying to figure out how to fight a flying thing from a flying thing.
It presents considerable difficulties.
The cannons were a little tricky to get used to at first, but I'm worried about using those over the city. Do we know what this thing wants? What is it trying to do?
We don't even know what it is. It attacked us, so I don't know if that was instinct. Actually, wait, it attacked the castle first, right? Can you tell me what those first moments were like? Did it specifically come after you, or did it just seem like it was attacking you because you were there?
Well, so we had been, hovering not too far away, waiting to hear from you as you went down into the temple, and we didn't see it appear or anything. All of a sudden, there was just a light. It first came when it was dark outside, and so it really just glowed in the night sky. We saw it coming. We didn't know what it was at first, and then it was going to pass us by, and then it swerved to come towards us. And you know how it kind of like rammed and like caused us to sort of shake a couple of times? It did that a couple of times, and then we went to go try to land to see what we could do to get away, and it just broke off the attack, and then we didn't see it again. So we weren't sure what happened there, but we didn't see it again until it came after us as we were coming to meet you this time.
My working theory is that it's not exactly a dragon, or maybe not living. It was visible bones and something like an interior structure, or it could be midnight stone powered, or
Well, so
it could be remnant, or
To clarify, no bones. You saw so if you imagine giving a dragon a suit of armor, it's like it was just the armor with no dragon
Oh, okay.
inside, only filled with fire otherwise.
So he would revise his description to that.
So it might be mechanical in nature, not entirely unlike yourself.
Well,
How much
I
do
mean,
you know about yourself and things like you?
well, more than I used to after visiting, Greg Holmes' workshop. But maybe, as we all watched Greg Holm, kind of give himself up to complete the spell for me, maybe that dragon is kind of what happens if that doesn't happen. If, the
It's
if the
entirely-
price isn't paid.
Yeah. Which might mean it's driven by some sort of nightmare energy, which is something we could deal with. If we could get it to stand still long enough. We also have to work on imprisonment more. I was thinking about using the mirror to try to capture it, but I think the mirror's too vulnerable to do that.
Well, the mirror I think is magical, so I don't know if it's terribly fragile, but it does, I think, have a range, and it's kind of would probably be very difficult to get it to activate on the specific creature at a distance.
It depends upon certain circumstances, and it's a little bit more tricky than I'd like. If we were able to hold it somehow, that might help. But something that big, I don't know. I didn't try to reach out to its mind. I'm not actually sure it has one now, but I might try that. In the middle of battle, it didn't seem like a good idea.
So, brief note for everybody. I think if, for example, anyone was in need of a short rest, you might try doing that now.
Yes, I'm going for a short rest.
Okay. So yeah, anyone who wants to do that, you can go ahead and activate your short rest powers, so to speak, because it's going to be a little while getting, caught up to this thing. But so Zaylene, would you have had more to do in the tower, or after the bit of observation that we talked about, would you have been coming out, or?
No, yeah, I would come out, but I think I'm gonna leave Carolina in there just because I know she's safe in there, and if she does, wake up, she'll be someplace familiar, not in the middle of crazy mayhem.
Okay. So I will assume then, for convenience sake, that all of you, Carolina accepted, have come back out of the tower. And this is about the time that Yobert comes back out of his little study and says, so I reached out to people that I know in Pashan that know people in Emersham and have started the message network necessary to let the people in charge know that a dragon is on its way. Tell people to get off the street, get in the basements if they can. Hopefully we can resolve this quickly, but certainly I've had them sound the alert, so there will be questions to answer regardless. And then so Brennan, I think, asks, do we think it's gonna, I mean, it was running away from us now. Do we think it's, what do we think it's trying to do?
A lot of questions to answer. Find someplace safe. Find something that can heal it up, maybe. I don't think it's leading anywhere, but I'm kind of curious to see where it goes. It might be going back home.
So, I think it will be another little bit before you arrive, and if you think that all of you would just have your own sort of preparations to make, we can go ahead and move forward to that. But certainly, if you felt like there were more conversations you wanted to have, then we could. There's time for that to happen.
Have I would I have noticed the way that Evan was acting, or was he kind of doing that on the fly?
Well, I mean, he's certainly trying to do
Sly.
it, on the slide, but I think you have a relatively high passive insight, if I'm not mistaken. So
17 for my.
yeah, I think you notice that there's definitely a jealousy vibe going on with Evan.
Okay. I would pull him aside, just kind of have like a private moment with him and just be like, "Hey, are you doing okay?"
Well, I mean, sure, yeah. Like, I mean, under the circumstances, obviously, we got to go save the people from that dragon. So I'm a little worried about that. But why? What do you mean?
You just seem a little off since we got back to the castle. You seem kind of strange,
Well,
like you're upset.
I mean, don't you think it's weird that this guy just shows up? Like, what is that? Like,
Well-
he's just here when we get back?
Well, sometimes, you know how I don't sleep?
I mean, I guess.
I meditate. Last night when I was meditating, the Mistress of the Dark spoke to me. And she told me that she was sending help.
Okay. And
So there he is.
so she just sent some dude to just like show up?
I guess. I mean, if she sent him, he must be, pretty powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. He does have a pretty cool sword, but like
Yeah.
I don't know, I just mean like it just seems weird to me. Like I guess I mean, are you sure that he's who she meant?
I think so. I have a strange feeling about it. I don't think that he would have just magically shown up here saying he was sent to help me. I mean, where would somebody get that idea unless she gave it to them?
Well, I mean, I feel like the last couple of days have been just like a lot of strange things happening. And a lot of like evil people who can like do magic showing up and trying to mess with our heads. And I guess I'm just like, are we sure he's not, like corrupted or whatever?
Well, I mean, we can always ask Nedry. I mean, even I think I have the ability to do what Nedry does now, where I can, sense corruption, like the corrupted dreams and stuff like that. But I mean, if you're worried about it,
Well,
then maybe we should see and make sure that he's not.
Well, I just feel like, I don't know, I mean, I'm just getting like, I don't know, I feel like, just it seems weird, is all.
I know, but do you trust the mistress?
I guess.
You guess.
Well,
I mean-
so I think you're sensing in that it is like he knows that the right answer is yes and he wants to, but it
Yeah.
is conflicting with other feelings.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, you have to trust her. And if this isn't right, I think that she will look out for us and let us know. I don't think that she's going to let something awful happen to us.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep an eye on him too, though, just to be
Okay.
sure. All right.
That's yeah, you
Okay.
totally can. But you know, I want you to remember, like, you're my friend, and just because somebody else came here to help me doesn't mean I'm not going to be your friend anymore. Like, we're pals, you know.
So there is
For
a little bit with your high passive insight. There's a little bit that he tries to cover of when you're my friend, we're pals. There's a little bit of like, oh, that's great. We're friends. Yeah. Uh huh. Thanks. Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're friends. Like you and me and Carolina, you know, like you're with us and
Mm-hmm.
you're in this now, and I'm really glad that you're here. And I'm not just gonna be like, oh, this Ballview guy's my new best pal. Evan can just go fly a kite.
All right. Well, I guess I guess I wanted to just make sure you knew that I was watching him, and you know, maybe I ought to go keep a lookout on the roof. Yeah, I'll go do that. I'll be right back. And then he just kind of
Okay.
flees.
That's all.
Sure.
We're Evan.
Yeah. All right. So, does anyone else have other business that you would be keeping track of here? Yeah. I think Mark, that the dragon does, before you reach the city, exceed that 1,000-foot radius, but I would imagine you are capable of keeping it, you know, the spell up.
The
Regardless.
spell lasts for an hour, so I think we're on the edge of how long it can last too. But
Yeah.
he would recast it.
Okay. But what I mean is that even if it's outside the radius, you can have the spell up in case it shows up again, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, and then as we established, Zalene's Hunter's Mark is capturing it too, and it is, for better or worse, does seem to be clear that when in tracking sort of where it is, it does seem as though at around the time you would expect it at its speed to reach the city, it doesn't get any further away, and so once again you're getting closer to it as you try to keep up. But it does seem like that is where it went, and it didn't, didn't flee any further from there. So as you are flying over the city, this is your first time approaching the city, because if you recall, last time you decided to sort of land outside the city, and not sort of make a big showy thing of flying a castle over the city. Are you just flying right in this time?
I kind of think we don't have a choice. I mean, if we get off of her and like if we get out and we're on the ground, I don't think we're gonna have as much range as we do.
So as you are moving into the city, certainly everything looks pretty like deserted. Like there's not people on the streets, but you also see a couple of places where smoke is rising into the sky. And as you get closer, you can see that there are a couple of places that are sort of scorched black, in sort of like circular or oval shapes that look like it was the dragon's sort of breath weapon, that have certainly at least done some structural damage. But you don't really see any people, possibly because they were warned and then a dragon attacked, and so they're hiding, right? But you don't really see any people. You do see a couple of those scorch marks, but your hunter's mark and then the locate object sort of starts pinging again, and you are able to basically, zero in on it. And you don't see it on the ground, but you do eventually kind of realize that there's sort of a big kind of like a warehouse-looking building near the docks, and it seems as though when you get sort of close enough that it looks like the sort of big cargo loading doors on one side of it have been smashed open, and your pings are coming from inside that building.
All right, we've got it in a contained space. Hopefully, we can nail it to the floor and decimate it and keep the damage to the minimum to the city to a minimum, and hopefully make sure nobody gets killed.
I would like to study it a little, if that's possible.
Can it be dead when you study it?
Well, depending on the nature of the creature, it might not even exist once it's dead. Like
Well-
Tanglefoot or some of the other nightmares.
I know, but unless you have a way to contain it, I don't know if we will have a choice.
Well, we have a way to contain it. I don't know if it'll go back into the cards. That might not work right now, actually. But
Yeah.
if we
Yeah.
ever want to contain any of these things, we're going to have to study them.
Ivy,
We might be able to draw the nightmare out of it.
Ivy speaks up, just saying, "Rather seems that we're facing the same dilemma that Isilda had."
No joke there. We're not as equipped as they were either. But that's why I want to know more. If we can determine if it is a nightmare, that can help. We might be able to draw out the nightmare and leave the rest of it behind. Or if we get a good idea of what it's made of or how it's made, maybe we can find a way to I don't know, knock it out.
Do you how close do you have to be to detect nightmare?
Fairly close. About 30 feet away is about the range I can tell.
All right.
As for the pipe, I don't know its range. Zinhorn?
The pipe, you have to essentially be able to exhale the pipe smoke onto it.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gotta be in melee range.
So what if I can trap it again and we can get up close to the ribbons and then I can drop it? I mean, do you think if you did your detect nightmare while it was trapped in my evil, do you think that you would be able to detect it? Or do you think that
I
would
don't-
block it?
I don't
mean,
have to see the thing to detect it, so it could work. It's good to test anyway.
Yeah.
The other problem is it could just fly away.
But it's in the warehouse. I mean, I know it could bust through the ceiling.
It looks
the
like it
roof
already
and go-
busted through one wall to get in there.
Yeah.
But what I mean is we want to take it at different angles to try to keep it from having that option.
So what if we have Sunya positioned above and we would go in?
I know in the newcomer here is was there much in the way of damage after the last couple of times it rammed into us?
Sunya, which I think it might have been explained to you at some point, that Sunya is literally the spirit embodiment of the castle itself. But she speaks up and she says, there's some cosmetic scratches and such, but I'm fine otherwise."
Right, because this idea about positioning your good self over the top of the warehouse, like, that's all well and good, but I don't know because I haven't had a really good chance to have a good look around. But if it crashed into the bottom of you, would that be disastrous? Because that wouldn't be good.
Well, I would imagine that if it hit the gears and propellers under there, that It would probably damage it as well, but if it hit me hard enough that it broke some of them, we would fall.
Potentially falling on top of it and killing it, but also, killing anything else below and hurting your good self, which, probably to be avoided.
Yes, if I don't know if that would be the case. Part of what was happening when it would hit me from the side is that the damage was limited because the kinetic energy was just absorbed by the motion of the castle. But if it were to fly directly up from underneath, the weight would keep me from moving too much, and it could damage more if it were to do that. But I also rather think that it would be like deliberately flying into a spinning blade. I don't know that it would be an appealing target, but then again, who knows what it wants.
That's what I'd like to figure out. Zaleen, your inky darkness thing, does that have to be cast on ground, or can you cast it on something in the air?
I can cast it wherever. I cast it when it was in the air last time.
A point
So
within
that
range.
might be a way to keep it in a place
Right.
if it tries to run.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we would have one round, definitely, depending on how initiative would fall. Like, if we had a sneak round, maybe. But we would basically have one round to, do what we want to do, and then it would have a chance to try to get out. And if it gets out, it doesn't have any actions other than getting out on that turn. So we would have 2 rounds to do what we want to do.
Well, it's not long, but it might be better to learn something. But I mean, if it's going to kill us all, then I don't want to risk it too much. I'd rather not die. It makes it harder to write things down.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
I feel, though, that because it was already trapped, if it could just simply be killed or destroyed, they would have done that. It still wouldn't pay the price, so to speak,
Maybe.
if it was created that way.
What if we trap it in the mirror?
The mirror requires it to be really, really close, and it's hard to aim, and it's a little fragile. If it didn't work, then it could easily smash it.
But we wouldn't know if we didn't try. I mean,
I do
we've
want to
had
experiment
it.
with it.
Yeah, but we've had it for as long as I've been with you, and I think this might be a good opportunity to test it out.
I was hoping to test it out with one of you guys first.
I don't mind.
Kind of the same
doing
way
it.
the bag was tested.
Yeah, but I mean, what if you go in there and you can't get out?
Well, I can let you out. I know that much about the mirror. You wouldn't be able to get out on your own, very likely.
How long
Which is
would
the-
it take to do a test? I mean, we don't. How much time do we have before we? Are we like right there now?
Yeah, I mean, you're
Pretty
you're
much.
coming up on it, so you found it,
Okay.
and essentially right now, it seems like it's hiding in a warehouse. So it's unclear whether there is a time pressure or not, but you are essentially ready to do whatever you decide to do.
Okay. I mean, maybe we don't have time to test it, which I know is not what you want, but it may be our only chance to trap it because none of us can use the deck except for Carolina, and she's kind of incapacitated right now. And I mean, even if she did use it, who knows what else might get let out? It could be something we could bring that stupid worm back.
Go ahead.
Normally, I do aid on you guys as soon as I can, and it lasts for 8 hours. I can't remember if I did that last time.
I don't think you
No.
did because you had all finished a long rest and were coming out of the temple, and then the fight was kind of just like right away as soon as you're out. So I don't think you did.
Okay. I know I got Buster with the protection from dying thing.
The death ward.
Death ward.
Death ward, yeah.
Mhm.
Let me see how long. I want to make sure how long that lasts.
I think
That
it's like
lasts
8
8
hours or
hours.
something. Yeah.
Did you do that on Buster or did you do it on Carolina?
No, I did it on Buster.
Okay.
You were trying to spare the dying, I think, on Carolina, but she wasn't
Yeah.
dead enough.
Yeah, she wasn't dead. She was just sleeping.
It's only mildly dead.
She got better.
Oh, we hope.
Yeah.
With the mirror, when Nedry was examining before, I think he was able to determine that none of the cells had anything in them.
That's correct. There is nothing currently imprisoned in the mirror. You just know that it's capable of doing that.
Okay.
You want to try it?
It might
then
be
maybe
worth
you'd be
trying.
able to. You might be able to study it more then.
It's true. And it's maybe a little less dangerous than the cards are.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. Might be more dangerous than the cards. Who knows?
Maybe Evan could carry it. It's a bit big for me. It technically should be mounted on a wall. I think we can get away with mounting it just sort of
Holding
if
it
Evan
up.
is a wall. Yeah.
I mean, Evan is super strong. I
do
try
I
to say
have-
that within his earshot.
Let me also just briefly retcon. I had Sequential earlier say that because it's magical, it's not so fragile. I want to take that back. It is actually fragile.
No, it is very, very
Yeah.
fragile, according to the yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
I just wonder, like, if this hasn't all been some kind of misunderstanding, and it might be just worth talking to the dragon.
Well, it did attack first, technically,
Well-
but that's why I want to try to probe its mind.
yeah, and if we can trap it, then we're not killing it, and then we can maybe talk to it.
This is true, and all good points. And it's funny because I'm usually the first one to jump to stabbing things and shooting things, but it seems like he took some licks and he went off. Maybe
Yeah.
he's just trying to hide from us.
I think he might be. He did seem like he was pretty banged up when he fled. He looked pretty rough. So, I mean, I'm really on board with trying to trap it. Zinhorn, what do you think?
It's kind of deadly. I kind of want to make sure that the people in the city don't get slaughtered, even if it is a misunderstanding. Protecting them comes first. for
But
me.
what about trying to trap it? I mean, if we can
We
trap it
can
in the
try and
mirror-
trap it, but if it starts trying to get away, then like if it breaks out of
Right.
that warehouse, we got to take it down.
Okay.
Again, if it can be taken down, it might just reform somewhere else.
It
But if it
doesn't seem
does-
to be like those nightmare things. It seems to be more akin to like a war forged, but on a bigger scale.
It
That's what the
also felt-
Denetherians did. That's where Sequential and his people came from. Their
But-
people came from.
It also felt kind of undead.
Yeah, it's a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, I would try to turn undead, but I think it might be too strong for my measly powers.
Would not just make it run away.
No.
Yeah, well, turn undead if like there's things that are weak enough would just be annihilated, but if you successfully turn undead, otherwise it does attempt to flee from you.
I'm just going from the name. It says turn, which
Right. Which, technically it would. But, if we saw a bunch of skeletons, I could be like, be gone. And they would
well,
go.
let's hope that when it gets hurt enough, it falls apart into a bunch of small skeletons.
That aren't moving anymore. That would be great.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. If you're gonna wish big, I guess.
Yeah.
So, do we want to have Evan hold the mirror? I mean,
I can
He's
do
strong
that. He
enough.
says, you know.
you're super strong.
It so the mirror is 4 feet tall and it weighs 50 pounds. So he's capable of doing it, but it's not trivial.
Right.
Right.
It's way above Nedry's. Well, Nedry to begin with.
Sure. Sequential, just so everybody is kind of aware that the way that it works, if you need to do this, is that someone within 5 feet of it needs to give the command word for it. Once that's done, anyone within 30 feet who can see their reflection in the mirror will have to make a saving throw, and if they fail, they'll be trapped.
Okay. So we stay behind the mirror.
I mean, if you are trapped,
Don't
I can
look
bring
at it.
you out, but
Yeah.
it's mostly if it doesn't. get
Would
trapped.
we? I mean, if you get trapped, does everybody go into different cells, like in the backpack?
Yes,
Okay, good.
there
'cause I
there are
would
a
not
dozen
wanna be-
inside.
Are they like non-magic cells like that?
Not exactly. The description is a little vague from what I could determine, but essentially they're infinitely large spaces that are semi-magically protected. I'm assuming this thing can't hop between planes. It would be able to get out if it did. I'm also not assuming that Tanglefoot doesn't have that ability. I'm pretty sure he does. So he wouldn't get
He-
stuck in here.
He did because he was trying to when you counterspelled him.
Yeah.
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 So it's
Yeah.
risky but powerful.
So
If it goes wrong, I'll make sure that we get out, or I'll do what I can.
right. Okay, so I guess everybody try to stay out of the view of the mirror when we do this. I will
Mhm.
try to trap it, and we go from there. I mean, does that sound like a good plan?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Okay. And if it doesn't work, then we go back to trying to fight it.
Okay. And I don't know, maybe try and yell something at it to make it look at you when you're standing next to the mirror. I don't know. Piss it off, tell it it's ugly.
Well, it might not understand spoken word, but I can certainly make it look at me. Well, I can try.
All right. So, and then do we want Sunya to kind of like be outside, not directly above or directly above?
I mean,
Not
It would be
directly above.
it would be discouraging to have all those fans over your head.
I think
Uh,
Gilbert says, I do think we ought to have something prepared for if it just flies away from you.
Well, that's partially Zalen's shadow thing.
I mean, if nothing else, I think that at least perhaps the same crew as before, we can stay up here and target it with the cannonade, attempting to the warehouse, as I mentioned, is by the docks. So we could attempt to place ourselves where, if we miss, the shot will just go into the water.
That's a good idea.
Yep.
I mean, the building is already damaged, but if we can lessen the damage, it would probably be for the better.
Yeah.
All right. So, are we gonna have her put us down?
Well, there's not an obvious place to land.
Right.
Well, two of us can fly.
Yeah.
Somebody's got feather fall.
Nedry, do you have the fly spell?
I do, but I don't have a lot of magic available.
Yeah.
I mean, Featherfall could get everyone to the ground safely.
That might be the easiest.
Okay. Do we want to do that? Is Ivy coming, or is she gonna stay up here?
I think that she'll. Perhaps I'm best used in this capacity, manning the cannons up here, and if necessary, then I can travel in between the two.
Actually, the best place for you with your intellect is probably up steering Sunya on the very top.
Ah, yes. Splendid. You perhaps show me how it works before you disembark.
Sure, it's remarkably simple. I'm sure you'll pick it up very quickly.
And he seems delighted at the opportunity
Yeah.
to explain this to her.
Sure.
Nedry's like skipping up the stairs.
It's just A B A B X Y start. And it,
Back, forward, up, down, forward.
Actually,
back.
if you hit select before start, you get the 30 lives for both players.
That's right. Oh wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so if I may, just briefly in the meta, it sounds like what's going to happen is Zaleen, Evan, Zinhorn, Nedry, and Baldu, the 5 will be the ones going down. What about Buster?
Are you taking Buster, or are you gonna?
Oh,
leave him
yeah.
here? Yeah.
No, he's coming with us.
Okay.
All right. And so everyone else is staying on the castle for now, which will be hovering nearby so as to be able to fire at the dragon if it tries to fly away, but where any missed shots will go into the water and not over the city.
Zinhorn, you'll have to fly. I won't be able to carry everybody or
No,
allow
not
them
a
to
problem.
float.
Featherfall doesn't do 6 people?
It's you choose up to 5 people.
Oh,
I
okay.
think you can choose yourself. So
Okay.
I
So,
think at higher levels it can accommodate.
well, in any case,
more. No,
since
actually,
Zinhorn can fly, that would be enough
Yeah.
anyway.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're taking Evan and
Yeah.
the mirror.
Mhm.
How are we gonna get the mirror down there?
Well, I mean,
No, you can carry it.
Okay.
I could put it in the bag for now if you need. It should fit.
I think it doesn't fit in the bag, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken, because it's too big. It doesn't fit through the
Too
opening.
big. Okay.
As long as he holds on to it.
He's got this. He's a
Just
hero.
Yeah,
later.
no, I got this. I can totally do it. I'm good. Let me do this for you.
I will.
I've got
I will
Buster's
cast
page.
guidance on Evan.
All right. Nice.
Actually, yeah. Before we head out, I think I've got yeah. I will. Nedry will cast protection from evil and good on Evan.
Okay.
Tap into the book's power. Protective verses, because I still have a couple of things for that, and give Evan 17 temporary hit points
Nicely
Okay.
done.
Okay.
to beef him up a little bit.
All right. So I don't have like a fancy prepared map for this, but I am making just a basic one.
Okay.
And let me get everybody over on there. And so you'll certainly be allowed to stealth if that seems like what you want to do. But I'm just putting you all near the entrance for the moment.
Yes.
And you are confident that even though, like, it was in theory long enough for you all to take a short rest, presumably it would not have had time to do so because it was actively flying, whereas you all were able to hang out in a flying castle.
Is
We were
it still
passively
daylight?
Yes, although it's starting to shadows are starting to get long.
Okay, so I can wear my cloak and it's not going to disintegrate in the sun.
Yeah, well, especially since, well, I guess because it can be in the sunlight for like an amount of time, right?
I think it's like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Let me check.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, if it's exposed to an hour without interruption, then it will
okay.
lose its magic.
Yeah, so I think for right now, it's it would be getting some, but you could mostly stay in the shadows, presumably.
Okay.
So, okay, I think.
I will
Oh, go
I'll
ahead.
draw forth my sword
Hmm.
and use its special ability and cast Pass Without Trace. Targeting everybody in our group.
Oh, sweet.
So
So that's plus 10.
plus 10 stealth, yeah.
Sweet.
I'm falling without sound. How does that even work?
Okay, so
Oh
can
my
everyone
God.
move the tokens you need to be able to move?
Yes.
All right.
I can move Evan. And
I can't move Buster.
Okay.
So
There you
Can
go.
Move me.
Should be able to move him
Thank
now.
you.
All right, so let's go ahead and have everybody roll their initiative.
were we doing stealth checks too?
You will in a moment. Let's just go ahead and get
Okay.
the initiative first.
I forgot to select my token.
Oh, that's all right. If you have the number, we can just type it in manually.
Yeah, I do.
Oh shoot! Hang on. I'm moving your token temporarily just so I can right click and put you on there.
Yep.
Then you can.
Do what you gotta do.
All right. Let me also put us back on the map screen on the stream here. Okay. And
My token, is it on there? My token's not on there.
No. If you have your token selected when you do the roll, it auto populates. But I just put you on there now, so you can type in the number.
Okay. All right.
I am very confused.
Why?
Because it rolled my initiative with advantage the first time and rolled 2 7s, and then I thought it was a mistake, so I did it again, and it rolled 2 17s.
Oh, okay. Well,
Somebody needs to do the math on that. It seems-
Well, no, I mean it's with advantage, so take the
Yeah.
higher one, but it's
but
like
it just rolled the same
Yes.
twice.
yeah. So
It happens.
okay, so I mean I should be 7
Yeah.
then, not 17.
Okay. Let me.
If it keeps happening, we're going to call a seance.
All right.
Yeah,
Nedry
why
and
is he
Zaleen
doing
need
it?
to do rollies to who has. The
No,
right-
it's-
Oh. Okay.
It's Evan and
Oh. Okay.
Nedrick. Mine was 18, but for some reason, like it put it in Evan's, and then when I put Evan's in, it put it in mine. I don't know why.
Okay. Okay. Zaleen, what's your dex?
+2, so
Okay.
it's 14.
All right, and then so we need to know who has the higher dex between Nedry and Evan.
Evan's is 16.
Yeah, his is higher.
Okay.
Not really surprised there.
You never know. Because like I have another game that I play in where there's a wizard character who somewhat, just unusually, but certainly there's nothing to ever stop someone from doing this, has Constitution as their second highest stat. So intelligence and then Constitution. So they have a startling number of hit points for a wizard because they have a high Constitution. But that's you never know. All right.
Build choice.
Yeah. So now is when we are going to have everybody go ahead and make your stealth checks, but you get a +10. We need one for Buster and for Evan as well.
Evans is a 29.
Okay.
Mine is 19.
Mine comes to a total of 33.
All right. There you go.
I love being a rogue.
I got a 16.
So +10.
Yeah.
I'm almost as good as the rogue. I got a 32.
Nice.
Yeah.
You rolled a natural 20. You're like invisible without
And,
even using a spell.
So Buster, it would be a 7, but it'll
That's
still
Buster.
be
So
17,
17,
right? Yeah. So I think that's the lowest so far, right?
I got a 16.
No, yours is
No.
26
No.
because
So
we
that's
add
10
plus
from-
10.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because
Oh,
Baldu,
pass
without
without
trace.
trace. Got it.
yeah, his sword
Okay.
has exuded an aura of shadow and quiet around all of you, and so as long as you're all staying close, you gain the benefit. And I think that Zaleen, you sort of just immediately intuit that this is also protecting your cloak from any sun that you might briefly walk through.
Nice.
All right. So did you go ahead and use your feather fall to get everyone on the ground, Nedry?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, I briefly was looking at it from the perspective of, did anyone roll low enough to be noticed? But that's not usually how group checks work. Everyone rolled so high that even I think you make up for Buster in that sense. You are. I think you're having to work with Buster, Zinhorn. You know, there's just a
Yep.
little bit of like you can tell him to be quiet, and he remembers for about 10 feet, and then he starts getting excited again, and then you have to just okay, come on, all right, quiet.
All right. I'm going to cast Aid and the 3-player characters, Jenny, John, and Mark.
Mm-hmm.
You all get 10 hit points.
Is that the one that increases your max?
Yeah,
Okay.
those are real hit points
Hang on, I have
for
to just
8
double
hours.
check something really quick.
Oops, I just changed mine to 10.
Okay.
There you go.
Over.
Okay.
Oops.
All right.
Yeah, don't forget that Evan also has 17 temporary hit points.
Yeah, I added it to the total. Okay.
All right. So, as things stand, I think you've been extremely quiet taking use of this spell. I think as you've been creeping sort of around the building to try to get to where the entrance is here, this big smashed entrance, there are a couple of points where you see people peeking through closed window shutters, looking scared, watching you how they can. But there's definitely people around still just hiding. But you make your way around the building, and it looks like Zinhorn has moved forward just enough to kind of be the first, perhaps, to peek around the corner there.
Yep.
So what you see inside is a dark warehouse that has a number of stacks of crates of things to be expected that are all about 10 feet tall. The roof in this building is about 30 feet tall. You do, however, see in the dark, the otherwise, very dim light in this enclosed building, you see a glow in the far corner this way over here, because that's where the flames of this thing are. It seems to be on the ground. You don't see it directly because it's behind the crates, but you see a glow of light being given off from it. But Baldu, you are up first in the initiative.
All right. So I am going to come tiptoeing in, sort of along here and double back to about there. So sticking close to the wall, uh, right to there. And then I don't know if I've got a line of sight on this guy at this point.
I think you probably
Feel
like if you were one more to the left, I think you would.
yeah, which is just outside of my movement. So I'm just gonna hold an attack action.
Okay.
I'm basically gonna knock an arrow to my short bow, ready for him to stick his big fiery face out.
All right.
That's my turn.
Okay. Go ahead and make another stealth check. We did the
Sure
group
thing.
check as you approached the building, and now we're at individual checks. Not that I expect anything different from, you've got, you're going to do okay.
That is the lowest that I can roll. Is a 23.
So I think I think that your pass without trace is only if you're within. Actually, I
They
can't
have
remember.
to be within. The wording of pass without trace is they have to be within 30 feet when I cast it, and I think we talked about having to remain kind of within that.
Right, but 30 feet was the radius was I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, that is Baldur's turn. It is Buster's turn. I think he's kind of looking to follow your lead, Sidhorn. Meaning, like you need to tell him what you want if you want him to do anything.
Yep.
I think he'd be at your heel, but that'd be about it.
Yeah. I'm going to give him the sign to heal.
Okay. All right, he does. Okay, Zaleen.
I'm going to creep in here and see if I can see where the light is,
Mm-hmm.
and I am going to unleash my ribbons
Okay.
because it's within 120 feet and it's 30 feet in diameter.
Yep. Let's okay, and then so let's see, 30 feet in diameter. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, so suddenly the area that was glowing with light around is immediately snuffed out as you cast that, and you hear within the sort of windy writhing of these shadowy tendrils, you hear the sudden roar of anger from this dragon.
That's me.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, that would be Zaleen's turn. It would be its turn, and it's going to try to break out.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as we have discussed previously, is a
DC 17.
strength check, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And
also it's at disadvantage.
at disadvantage, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So, so the first one is only an 8 because it rolled super low, but yeah, so it fails to escape on its first turn.
Okay. So
All right.
that gives everybody time to get into position.
Mm-hmm. All right. You feel it scratching and tearing though at the border of this sphere. All right.
Yeah.
So Evan's next.
He is going to go as far as he can.
Don't get too far ahead of me.
Okay. And he's going to come right here because that's about as far as he can go. And he's just going to wait for Nedry. Like
Okay.
he knows he can't attack because he's holding the mirror. So.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably run faster, though.
Oh yeah, he could dash, couldn't he?
Yeah. Well, so he could dash. He is carrying a 50-pound mirror, which is with like I'm not going to make him move half speed or anything, but it's just the sort of thing I want us to maintain the awareness of the fiction that he is carrying a thing where if he trips and he falls on his face, it will break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have him do half of his speed for the second,
Okay,
like for his dash, instead of doing like the full 30 feet.
sure.
So
All right.
yeah, he's right there.
Okay, Nedry.
Yeah, it's just within range, so Nedry doesn't have to run. But yeah, Nedry is going to. Let's see, how far away are we from that? Oops. Okay. Well, actually, then. I just want to check the spell, but I think. Yeah, okay. Oh, actually, yeah, no, that is as far as I can go.
Mhm.
Shoot. Okay. Oops, that was not. I didn't intend to hit that. The button showed up and it got clicked.
Okay, that's fine.
Actually, where's the range on that one? Oh, they're all 30 feet, and I'm 35 feet away. That's annoying. All right.
Well, and bear in mind too that 30 like the border of the shadow sphere is not where it is, right?
Right. I think he's going to. I think if it breaks out,
Yeah.
he's going to hold Chill Touch.
Okay.
No, sorry, Ray of Frost. Let's do Ray of Frost.
All right.
Let's try to slow it down.
I'm just remembering that there was a while on the Harmontown podcast where when they would play D&D, Dan Harmon's character would always cast Ray of Frost like it was a big deal. Like every time he cast it, it was like Ray of Frost.
Actually, you know what? He's not going to because he wants to save his reaction. So
right.
that's the only. His action will be dodge.
Okay.
He's hopping from foot to foot just in case.
Sure. Okay. That makes it Zinhorn's turn.
Okay. I don't seem to have the option to do what you guys do with measuring distances.
Oh,
but-
yeah. So I think you drew a line with the drawing tool.
Yeah.
But what you want is
Yeah.
the ruler tool.
I don't have the option for the ruler.
It should be below the magnifying glass.
I have snap to center, no
That's it.
snapping.
Yep, that's it.
Just select that tool, and then you
Yeah.
can start measuring.
So
things.
yeah, just click it. You don't need to worry about the other bits.
Okay. Oh. There we go.
Mhm.
So I already used 10 feet, so I can get there, and that's 20.
Mhm.
Gets me closer to actually having some cover, or I could dash. That'd give me some cover, wouldn't it?
I mean, you know, it depends on where you are and where it is when it matters, right?
All right, I'm gonna go over there.
Okay.
And I can't see it right now, right?
No, you see the outside of Zalene's shadowy sphere.
Okay.
All right. Baldu, it is your turn.
I am going to move my 30 feet down to here.
Okay.
Here. I'll move there. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There. And then I'm going to use another instance of my racial trait.
Racial treat.
Racial treats, yes. Which is blessing of the Raven Queen / blessing of the Mistress of the Dark to teleport myself 30 to an unoccupied space up to 30 feet away that I can see. So I'm going to put myself on that corner right there, so that I can actually, you know what? I've got the range to put it there. I can lay down covering fire if need be, and also provide support from where I am. And I'll knock that arrow again, holding my action in case he points his armor-clad fiery face out. Yeah, that's my turn.
All right. So that makes it Buster's turn. Buster's turn?
What do you want?
Oh, yeah.
I think he just runs up to catch up to Zinhorn.
Yeah. All right. Okay. That makes it Zayleen's turn next.
Okay. I'm gonna go right here. And as long as I can see like the light once I drop it, then I'm okay. But I wanted to give myself some cover. And I don't want to be like where the mirror is when they're ready. So and I'm gonna hold my action if they get close enough to drop my ribbons if they're close enough.
Okay. So what specifically are you will be the trigger for you to drop it?
I don't know if, like, how close do you have to be, Mark?
30
within
feet.
30 feet of it.
So any creature
Okay,
within
so-
30 feet that can see its reflection, and you have to have activated it with the command word.
Yeah.
Is that
Right now.
something that, like, you'll be able to do that this round if I drop the shadows?
Well, I do have a lot of people in front of me. So as long as they're not looking at me, I guess.
Close your eyes, guys. Okay, so if Nedry speaks the command word, then I will drop them.
Okay. All right. And so that makes it the dragon's turn. Let's see. You have felt in the meantime a couple of times where it seems like it's been sort of clawing at the sphere, but it doesn't. You don't feel the same like effort to try to break out of it as the last round.
Okay.
But that is the dragon's turn for now. It is still trapped. Evan, it is your turn.
Okay.
Or Evan is, whoever I'm talking
It's
to.
Evan's
Yeah,
turn.
Evan's turn. Yeah.
Do you want Evan to just move into place? I mean, he would
Yeah.
kind of turn to you and be like, "Where do you want me to go?"
A little bit closer, so that we're out of the eye line of anyone else.
Like, he can go.
About 15 feet closer, perhaps.
He can go right there. Is that good? Or do you want him to go like one more step?
No, I think that'll be okay.
Okay.
We would have explained that people shouldn't look into the mirror.
Right.
So hopefully
Right.
people aren't like, oh, look, it's going on. I
Yeah.
wonder what
Oh,
it looks
look
like.
at the pretty mirror.
Yeah. Well,
Me
but
and my hair's
like
Nice.
it should be clear though that like it is as sensitive as like if you kind of look over your shoulder for a second and you just happen to catch your own reflection in it even for a moment, that's enough.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a mirror still works like a mirror, right? Like it's not a wide angle lens. You have to be like in its correct line of view, or else you're seeing at an angle, not
Right.
yourself.
Right.
So keeping it pointed more or less, it's not like a whole cone of effect. We'll say it's kind of more or less, it's a 10-foot wide straight line out of the front of it.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'll do close your eyes.
Trust in the process. Just close your eyes.
I got some tricks up my sleeve. Don't you worry about me.
He's got mirrored sunglasses.
Okay, so.
And then for his action, he's just gonna wait to, hold the mirror out when Nedry tells him to go.
He could also dodge, which basically means he's ready to move if necessary.
But if he dodges, won't he drop the mirror?
Yeah, I think the dodge is tricky because, I guess he could be ready to move, but I think the part of what he's trying to do is be in position to have the mirror pointed right? So he's not really
Right.
free to move however he wants right now.
Okay.
But it's fine. He can take the dodge action. That's okay.
Okay,
All right.
so that's his turn then.
I think actually what I'll suggest is that I think he probably does need to sort of rather hold an action to make, because the thing is, you see a 30-foot diameter sphere, you need to be able to point it right at the dragon. So he can
Right.
hold an action to adjust the aim as necessary.
Okay.
When he sees it.
Okay.
All right. Nedry's going to move up and do the thing I should have done last time, which is he casts Detect Nightmare,
Okay.
because that lasts for a while. It's not an instant.
Right. And it's a 30-foot
now it's
range?
within. It is a 30-foot range. It should
Okay.
be within 30 feet.
Yeah. And yeah, you definitely detect some from within the sphere.
Talking is a free action.
Yeah. I mean, to give a command word, yeah, that's usually use a magic
Well-
item is an action to do that, but I think as established under the circumstances, all you have to do is say the word. I think that's a free action.
Well, in this case, it's to use telepathy to talk to each of his companions and tell them simply,
Definitely a nightmare inside.
Okay.
so just a few words to let them
Okay.
know that the Detect Nightmare has detected, in fact, a nightmare, which is another
Okay.
thing we didn't know before.
Sure. Okay, so is everybody? I mean, are you also giving the command word, or are you not? You're holding on that for another round.
Holding off because it can't see itself, because you can't see outside of that sphere.
Right.
But I was gonna drop the ribbons as soon as you give the command word.
Yeah, she was holding her action to drop the
Yeah,
That was
sphere.
yeah.
I don't know how the timing on that works, but
I mean,
It
so
instantly dropped.
Here's the way that I will resolve this, is that we have an initiative order, right? Any held actions will be carried out in the initiative order, right? So, meaning if more than one character has a held action, the order in which they happen will be the initiative order.
okay. And again, is activating it an action in this case or a free action? I wasn't trying to weasel out of that.
No,
it's just
no.
I wanted to see if the
Just
talking was.
saying the command word is all that's necessary. I will allow you to do that as a free action. It will be
Then
Zayleen's reaction to drop it when that happens.
okay. Then he will carefully and clearly say the command word, which unfortunately is in another book, so I don't personally know the word.
It's fine. Don't
that
worry
I
about it.
chose.
You remember what it is.
Nedry remembers.
yeah.
Nedry never forgets.
He's like an elephant. Like,
Wouldn't that have been funny though to get there at the moment, be all ready to go, and it's like, wait, what was the word? Wait a minute. Does anyone remember what the word was?
I wrote it
Batu
down.
Barada! Yeah.
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Yeah. Okay, but so
Like, it's
you
Poppin'
give
J.
you give the
Bob and Jay was
command.
for the bag.
I
think.
know.
Yes, he gives the
Alright.
command word.
All right. I
I
think
drop it.
Evan kind of goes whoa as he feels the mirror sort of vroom. And you drop the sphere. And so now we are going to resolve, as mentioned, the held actions in initiative order. So Baldu, your plan was still to fire your arrow?
Yeah, because
Yep.
at least that will hopefully get him looking in this direction.
Yep.
Let's go.
All right. Yeah. 11 is not going to do it, unfortunately.
No.
I think once again it has these sort of big fiery wings that unfortunately doesn't, the bolt can pass right through that.
Well,
Are-
is he still hidden?
Huh?
Is
What?
he still hidden?
Oh,
Baldu.
I still hit him.
Yeah, because he'd have advantage on the roll if he's still hidden.
Why would he be hidden at where he is right now? There's line of sight.
I've got cover.
Yeah, well, he's been stealthing this entire time, so I don't know if it was.
Well,
something
but
all
I
over.
think you guys were also
No,
I-
okay, that's fair. I just wasn't sure what he was doing. So
yeah. I think the problem right here is that if you need to have line of sight on where it is and you don't know precisely where it was going to be within the sphere, I think you would have had to have been far enough out to be able to see where it was.
okay,
So I don't think Buster had a held action. Zaleen just used her reaction. It is the dragon's turn, and it was holding its breath weapon. Yeah. So it was holding its breath weapon to breathe at anyone that it could see. So I think, yeah.
does it see itself?
Well, I'm just I mean that. Yeah, let's see. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, I think Zinhorn, you might be just outside of what its breath weapon can get because the crates would essentially be blocking it for you. But and Zaleen has got cover, but Buster and Nedry and Evan and Baldu need to make dexterity saving throws. And I'm trying to decide. Yeah. Okay. Dex. Yeah. So. Okay. I know how I want to do this, but do go ahead and everyone make those saving throws.
Evans is a 17.
Okay.
I'll take that.
All right. Yeah.
A nat 20.
Yeah. Well, and then with your evasion, I think that means you're essentially able to duck behind the crates enough that you are entirely unscathed. But
Sounds good to me.
for everyone else, we needed a 19 to succeed. So it's going to be a lot. We're talking about 62 radiant damage. Boom! As this laser shoots out. But here's the thing. So Evan is subjected to that because, he is not entirely blocked by the mirror, right? But the mirror is pointed back at the dragon, and it is a mirror, and it is
destroyed.
light. Well, no, what I was going to say is normal damage would, but specifically I'm going to rule light is reflected. Any other damage type except radiant is that's my ruling here. It doesn't specifically say that it's immune to radiant damage, but I had described this weapon as being like a laser. And I just, for my own respecting of the fiction, not just to give you guys a break, it's like you're shooting a laser into a mirror. So here's the thing: it is immune to its own radiant damage. So the amount of its own breath that gets reflected back at it from the mirror doesn't hurt it. But you all see that, well, I think probably none of you see it because any of you who are with where you could see it are got a lot of going on for your own self. But essentially, you once again get this scorching, charring effect all along everywhere that it was. The crates are burning now. There's scorched wood all over the floor for everyone who took that damage. But then there's also some of that back in the other direction too, where it was reflected off of the mirror. So the mirror is not destroyed, although Evan took a lot of damage. But then the next stage in the initiative is Evan holding the mirror. So that's where I was putting the mirror's initiative.
There is a reaction to Evan getting hit,
Okay.
which is that the shimmering blue shield that normally sits around Nedry will envelop him and take 25 points of that damage.
Nice. Nice. And so
Nedry
then
takes it all.
and so then the dragon has to make its saving throw at the for the mirror because it does see itself. It's a charisma saving throw, I believe.
That is correct.
Yeah. Here's the trouble you guys are going to have here is that it's a dragon and dragons are good at charisma. So,
Yeah. There's nothing I can do about that.
yeah, it gets a 25. So, so that
Technically,
the
if
mirror
I had
is
my
a
reaction,
15.
I could do something about that, but
Huh. I mean, did you? Your reaction was to absorb the damage, right? So you don't have that anymore.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
okay.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So 25 is so it sees itself in the mirror. The mirror is not destroyed, but it is not trapped on this round, and that was a held action. No one else had a held action, so we are back in the regular initiative turn order of Nedry had just finished his turn. All the rest was reactions. So Zinhorn, it is now your turn.
Okay.
You just you are looking down at the floor. You see scorch marks in a straight line across the floor, like right in front of you. You were barely out of line of attack of that.
Okay. Who took damage from that?
Evan took
Evan
some,
and Nedry,
and Buster probably
Buster.
should have taken some. Yeah.
Well, Buster's behind me.
Oh, Buster's
Well,
behind
but
me.
but he is sticking. He was big enough that he's sticking out. So,
Oh.
yeah. If you see
Oh.
my ruler line,
Yeah.
see,
I see it.
Right. It's a cone. Right.
yeah.
Okay.
So basically, Buster was big enough that he was sticking out and was partially within the
Buster's
cone.
Okay. Did
And you-
anyone take full damage?
Yes.
Who did?
Well, so Nedry did, and Buster would have, right?
And Evan took most of it.
Yeah.
But
Evan's still good though. I mean, he has like more than half of his hit points.
right.
Yeah. And 25 of the damage was absorbed. So
Right. What is my reserve life? 60 hit points. So the 3 people who took full damage will all get 20 points back as Zinhorn raises his holy symbol and yells, "Rashama, heal my allies!"
Nice. Okay. Anything else for your turn?
Okay, that bonus action, that was not a spell. So
Yeah.
bonus action, what level do I want to do this at? Spiritual weapon, at 4th level.
Okay. All right.
And
So you should be able to control it, but presumably you want it where it can attack the dragon.
yeah, I got an 11.
Okay. Yeah, 11 won't hit.
Yep.
All right. but you've got it up now. And so, Baldu, it is
Yep.
your turn.
Mr. Dragon, like, I think this might be a bit of misunderstanding, and I know I'm a little bit to blame for that because what with the shooting of the arrow at you. But any chance you're going to call off this attack? No. All right. I guess I will use my bonus action to steady aim and then fire off the shot with advantage. against
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
So here we go. 17.
A 17 does not hit. It
Rats.
it clangs, glancing blow off of one of the metal armor pieces of its horned brow. Just ding!
All right, that's my turn.
All right. Buster's turn.
Looks to Zinhorn for command. Actually, no, the thing attacked. He's just going to run.
Yeah.
It's like, got to protect the master.
Yeah.
It's going to have to sprint to get there, but it's going to sprint to get there. Shove, shove, coming through, roar.
Yeah. It should properly be one more square over there like that, just to not be sharing a square in the.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay.
No worries. You're good. And was that a dash or is that just his regular movement?
That's a dash.
Okay. Great. So I think that after that happens, the dragon once again, you see spectral chains start to shoot out from it, and Buster needs to try to make a strength saving throw.
Ooh, Buster, strength saving throw.
There you go.
26.
He succeeds, and so this time, unlike the last time, Buster sort of rears his shoulders and head about, and the spectral chains are not able to wrap around him. Okay, Zaleen.
She is going to. I kind of want to. If I run around here and get close enough, I'm gonna reach out and touch the dragon and bestow curse.
Okay. Which way are you going around from there?
I was just going around the boxes the way that I moved.
1, 2, 3.
So
Yeah, so you're kind of having to like push past Buster there. You actually, it's okay. Like you just did the same thing that Buster was doing. You were in the corner of its. Like it controls the 3 squares by 3 squares. So, but in any case, that's all right. You can still do all that. So bestow curse.
yeah.
What's its?
So it has to make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw. It got a 14.
My DC is 15.
Well, it's going to use a legendary resistance.
Damn it.
Yeah, so you feel your curse start to take hold, and then the eyes flare blue fire for a moment as it looks at you, and the spell fails.
Okay. Yeah. That's all I can do.
Okay.
So now I'm right there and it's going to eat.
Well, it is going to use another legendary action to make a claw attack. Against you, Zaleen.
Okay.
That's a dirty 20 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
See. Could be worse.
Stop. Why are you doing that?
That's for 12 slashing damage as it just sort of slashes out at you in anger there. But now it is its turn.
I actually used my hellish rebuke on that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna
Okay, a dexterity save.
I don't know if the cat is representing the creature or Buster at this point.
He doesn't even know. He does that when he needs attention.
It got an 18 dexterity
Okay.
save, so it does succeed there. Which does it take half damage?
I mean, I'm looking.
Yeah, I believe so. Right.
Yes.
Okay, so
it'd
it'll
take
take 12. Yeah.
12. Yep.
All right. You can see, especially this close up. I think this is probably the closest any of you have been to it. Really, is that it is pretty beat up. It is like the various armor pieces seem like they're not like the animating fire within that is holding them in the places where they would be were there a full dragon inside is not as strong, so everything's a little bit more wobbly in terms of floating in the approximate right position. It seems pretty bad off. But yeah, so you used your Hellish Rebuke, and then legendary actions. Is it they refresh when it's the start of your turn or the creature's turn, or is it the start of the initiative round? I always
I
forget.
think it's the start of the initiative.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so in any case, though, it is its turn, and it is going to. Well, first, let me roll a d6. Okay. Does not regenerate its radiant breath. Yeah, I think that it is going to use its sapping presence. So everyone within 60 feet needs to make a wisdom saving throw. And we're looking for a 19.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Is that a magical effect?
Yes.
Wow. We're all done.
my god.
Yep.
Really?
That's,
Well,
Okay.
It was nice
that's
knowing
everyone.
Yeah. Well, so this is the same thing that it did before. So everyone is just suddenly, you see it sort of like inhale and its fire sort of flares up like that, like when the Balrog does that in Fellowship of the Ring, you know? And everyone, you suddenly just sort of feel as it's sapped some of your strength, and everything feels heavy now. So until the start of the dragon's next turn, you have disadvantage on attack rolls, and your speed is halved. And so at that point, the dragon is going to take to the air, and it's going to fly 80 feet out the front of the.
Do they get reactions?
They do, and those attacks are with disadvantage.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to basically fly out of the building. But Zaleen, if she wants to make one, can do an opportunity attack, and Buster can.
I already used my reaction.
Oh, right, yep. So Buster can make an
Buster
attack, but at
definitely
disadvantage.
will.
Yeah.
Oops, I'll just roll it twice there. That was a 17, and the worst is a 17. So
Yeah. 17, yeah, it misses. Yeah. So it is not so far out the door that you can't see it. You know, let me make this map a little taller just so we can reflect that. Okay. So now I need to just drag everything further down. Okay. So the dragon now has is still low enough that you can kind of see it out the door, but it has flown out that far. If everyone can see it there, and that is the dragon's turn. So Evan, it is Evan's turn.
I think he's locking arms and just standing up at this point. Isn't it?
Right. Like he's still holding the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So
And it is still
I
active.
think Yeah, I think that he would just kind of look to Nedry and be like, "What do I do now?" Because like, does he turn around and start going in that direction with it? He's waiting for Nedry to help him.
Well, I
Doesn't know
mean,
what to
so
do.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if it stays active when you activate it, or if it.
yeah,
if it's
you
just a
you have to
momentary thing.
command it to turn off.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, it's active until it's either turned off with the command word or
Gotcha.
destroyed. That
Okay.
is how
Yeah.
it is left as a trap in dungeons.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But-
just hold it there.
Yeah, it sounds like yeah,
It's the
he's like you. I
reaction.
don't want to point this at anybody.
Yeah, so he's just
Yeah.
gonna stand there, I guess,
Sure.
until Nedry tells him otherwise.
All right. So Nedry's turn.
So Nedry will deactivate it. Just
Okay.
say the command word, and then lift a weary finger with his weary pen, and draw an octagon around the image of the dragon in the distance and cast slow.
Okay. And that what saving throw is that? Is that wisdom?
That wisdom saving throw.
Yeah. Got a 24.
God.
You guys really haven't fought that
that's-
many dragons, but I hope you're having fun with this.
I mean, fun, yes, but it's
Yeah.
frustrating as hell.
Yeah. It's a tough enemy for sure. Okay, Zinhorn, your turn.
I am going to move up here, and I was already in range to do guiding bolt, which I will do at 5th level.
The dragon, because I didn't use disengage, I really should have. He should have had a bite and 2 claw attacks before. he moved.
17.
That's right. Unfortunately, a 17 misses. Yeah.
I'm rolling so horribly tonight.
I mean, 17 is not a bad roll. This is just a high AC creature. It's a hard thing to hit. It is armor, and where it's not armor, it is fire that is not substantial. So, that's a tough creature to damage. Okay. That is back at the top of the initiative round.
I don't have much in my bag of tricks that I can do from this range, unfortunately. Yeah, I think I am just going to take the steady aim bonus action, which gives me advantage, which cancels out disadvantage, and he's right at that 75-foot mark, so he's just in range before I get disadvantage. But here we go. There's an arrow. That's a 25.
That'll hit.
That'll hit. And I haven't figured out how to not have this roll sneak attack at the same time.
Oh, well, it's fine.
That is also the wrong weapon. Never mind. Let's try.
Wait, so you use your steady aim, so it should have been with advantage, right?
Right, but we have disadvantage from.
Right, from the sapping presence. Yes, correct.
Yes, so they cancel each other out, right?
Uh-huh.
So there was a 25 to hit, and then I rolled shade blade damage instead of short bow damage because.
Right.
Because.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Well, so figure out what it should be, but.
I re-rolled with the short bow. It's 10 piercing damage.
Okay. You strike it and you do some more damage. It is very badly off compared to various things, but it is not quite taken out yet.
And I'll use a free action to say, "Oi, your fire's not looking as bright. What's the matter? Are you getting a bit cold on us? Come back here and fight." And yeah, that'll be that.
I just realized that when I moved all the stuff, it made the building no longer lined up with the grid, but because it moves the tokens to be on the grid, it made everybody else look like they shifted position compared to the furniture in the building. But
That's what happens when a dragon flies by.
yeah,
It shifts everything.
drag and drop. I do what I can. Anyway,
Done. Nothing more to say tonight.
all right. What does Buster want to do? That is within his ability to do.
I think he's just going to run after it. And that's now in 0.5 feet. So I think it's there, and then just a little bit further. Gets the door as he runs.
Yeah. Okay. Zaleen.
I'm going to move my 15 feet over here, and I'm going to fire off 3 Eldritch Blasts
All right.
at disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So that one's not going to hit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, an 18 doesn't quite get it. 19 is
Yeah.
what you need.
Sadly, I had a natural 20 that
Yeah.
Mm.
that's a 20, and then
17. No.
definitely not.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, those stay wide.
I
Yeah.
got a 20 every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh well.
Okay.
I tried.
Mm-hmm.
I did my best.
All right. So it is, that brings it back to the dragon's turn. It does not recharge its radiant breath, and so it is going to just continue to fly away. And it is dash flying, so it's going to get another 160 feet away, and it's definitely going up into the sky now. But that is where Sunia and the others had been waiting to fire cannons at a dragon trying to fly away. So if anyone wants to go ahead and make those attack rolls, it's d20 plus 6, and you can make 2 of them.
I'll do
I
it.
can- Okay. You rolled all the 20s, but not.
We do. Is it 2? It's 2, right?
2 different attacks, yeah.
So the first one is a 24.
Uh-huh. Well, so wait. So it looks like there's a... I see. So that 2d20...
Oh, it added plus 4. Wow.
Well, no. Okay. So what you did was roll 2d20 and it added it together. So it was a 4 and a 15.
4 and 15.
Right.
But
so
a
it's
15
the one
plus
is a 21.
6, a 15
Yeah.
plus 6 is a 21, and that does hit. And so
Uh-huh.
go ahead and roll 8d10 damage.
$46.
So you watch as you see it flying up into the sky, out over the water, frustrated that it's getting away. All of a sudden, from a distance, resounding through the air, and all of a sudden you see it's just blasted. The fire goes out in a big flare, and then you see what look like a number of different iron armor pieces, now separate, fall into the water.
Yeah.
I still would have preferred to catch it, but this does feel better.
We tried. We did our best.
So I think that is where we will call tonight's session, and what will
It
happen.
really was a drag and drop.
Yes, exactly. In hindsight, a spoilery, but better name for the episode. So in any case, though, we will find out what is next in store for the Pocket Protectors when we return next week for more adventure on so many levels.
So
So many
levels.